we might need to start looking for a second driver for Season 4 because Lewis Hamilton might be retiring. Hello everyone, welcome back to F1 Manager here with Mercedes episode 56, and coming up today we've got the British Grand Prix, but we might have to go driver shopping because I was just having a look through different bits and pieces before I started recording and I found this. Not interested in a contract renewal for Lewis Hamilton. Well, he's not interested in a contract renewal at least because apparently a retirement date has been announced. Nothing has come through on the inbox. I don't know how the game shows you retirements. There's been nothing announced. I've never had a driver, even on the F1 2022, that was this deep into their career. So, yeah, we've got 2 years left on Lewis's contract. Well, it runs until the end of 2026, so I don't know how this is going to work. We might need to have something up our sleeve in terms of getting a new driver in. So I'll keep my eyes peeled on that. And if he is retiring at the end of 2025, that makes it imperative that he does go on to win the World Championship and go out on a high, because he's currently leading it by 21 points from the reigning champion, George Russell. So obviously we want to keep the number one at Mercedes, but if he retires then there won't be a number one, and Lewis doesn't use the number one anyway. He would just be using number 44. So I'm going to go to Silverstone, get the cars prepared and sorted for a good weekend on home soil. Our car is going to be very good through the corners, less good down the straights, but the corners matter a lot at Silverstone. Obviously if you go fast through the corners you can carry that speed onto the straight. So we might be alright here, and obviously we secured a 1-2 finish at Silverstone last year. And we're off the back of back-to-back 1-2s, so hopefully we can keep that going. We've successfully made it through to Q3, and we've had the Great British Summer bringing all of its weather. So we've had some dry spells, but we've also had rain. A few minutes into both qualifying sessions so far. You might also notice that my head is back down at the bottom of the screen. I forgot to turn the camera on for the intro bit. I'm back now. And let's go to Q3 and see what the weather has in store. I've got my raincoat just in case. Rain in 4 minutes. Heavy rain as well. Whoosh. So we better get out there. Red Bull have outpaced us so far. I'm wondering whether we go first. We might as well go first because then we avoid most of the rain. Is anyone else following us out? Here they come. There's a bit of a gap actually. The Ferrari of Sainz is right in front of Verstappen, potentially giving him a slipstream. Although, how close is the Red Bull? Plenty close. So he'll get a nice tow. Here's George Russell then, 2 minutes out from the rain, and he's followed by Lewis Hamilton. Russell will of course go purple in the first sector. It's whether he is quicker than Lewis that starts it off. He is. A 24.9 versus a 25 flat. What does Verstappen do? He now goes fastest in the first sector. Leclerc's sector time will be coming up. He's not as quick as Verstappen. Through Maggots and Beckett's then for George Russell. It is of course a purple middle sector, not beaten by Lewis Hamilton. 37.1 for Lewis, 36.8 for Russell. So George Russell is putting in a good lap, but Verstappen is putting in a much better lap. George Russell goes fastest. Hamilton only second. 0.6 off his teammate. Here comes Max Verstappen. Has he been held up in the final sector by Sainz? No. He's still on pole by 0.4 of a second. Hamilton's fourth.
Copy.
Fifth even. Magnussen's got ahead of him.
So
I think Leclerc's going to have his lap ruined by the rain. Yeah, the rain came. Hamilton with a very average lap, and he only ends up fifth for his home race. George Russell though will be on the front row alongside Max Verstappen. That's the session done. Look at the rain coming down. It's not going to stop. That's the end of the session essentially. So we'll go to the Grand Prix, set up a strategy, and we'll need to move Lewis forwards. All set with the strategies then, looking to go aggressive most of this race. We do have an extra set of soft tyres, I believe, 2 fresh sets there and a couple of used sets, but the hard tyre means we can push on it a little bit more and be aggressive and have hopefully better pace through the race. So soft, hard, medium for George Russell starting on the front row, under fueling as usual. Medium, hard, soft for Lewis Hamilton, so sort of flipping the strategy of Russell for Lewis. Hopefully he can come through on the mediums. If he's in traffic, the mediums will hold up a bit more. The idea with George is to get him ahead of Verstappen and run in clear air and hopefully pull away. Yeah, I think we're ready for a motor race. No prospect of the Great British Summer arriving, so it should just be t-shirt weather, which suits me fine. Let's do a motor race. A sunny Silverstone then. Can we make it a winning Silverstone? 5 red lights, the lights are out, the race is on. George Russell, let's jump straight on board with the reigning world champion. We're pulling alongside Max Verstappen, looking for the way through. The Red Bulls on medium tyres. Lewis Hamilton's already lost a position off the start to Sergio Perez. Here goes George Russell looking to take the lead of the Grand Prix. Verstappen hanging on. Shades of 2021 here. Hamilton's back up to P5. Let's go for it with George Russell driving clean air. Can we find a way through? Is he going to send it into Copse? Let's find out. Through Luffield then. Sainz hanging with them in 3rd position. Here goes George Russell. Is he going to find a way through into Copse? No, is the answer to that. Lewis Hamilton behind the house of Magnussen, the stand-up performer in qualifying. We need to dispatch him ASAP. Lewis Hamilton's lost a position to Leclerc. So the Red Bull, who's also on mediums, is coming through, and Hamilton looks like he's under pressure from Perez. So this has not been the start that we wanted for Lewis Hamilton. But we aren't deploying our battery. The AI are. So we're going to do that now. DRS will now be active. George Russell is inside 1 second of Max Verstappen for the lead of the Grand Prix, which I think we might be about to snatch away from the Dutchman. Half a second the gap. We are deploying. If we don't get him down the Wellington Straight, I'm almost certain we'll get him on the run to Stowe, but we're very close here into Brooklands. George not finding the way through. Lewis looking like he's going past Charles Leclerc. Here we go. Lewis Hamilton up into P5. On the exit, through Woodcote. There we go. The crowd roars its appreciation as George Russell looks around the outside of Verstappen. At Cox. Dare you overtake at Cox, risking the wrath of Christian Horner? Right, driving clear air.
Just cool, Carl. Understood.
And with the DRS, we're going to blast into the lead, I think. Oh, it's very, very close. We'll have the inside line for the Vale chicane, but we'll have to make it stick through Club. We're still deploying. There's no DRS on this straight, but through into the lead goes George Russell. Lewis Hamilton has just passed Carlos Sainz, who was battling with Kevin Magnussen, but couldn't find his way through. So Lewis can now go for it against the Dane. Let's deploy, and we'll push as well with the engine just to make sure we get this done. Russell and Verstappen are indeed just swapping positions at the front. Lewis, come on man, you've got to get this move done. And put the ERS battle assist on there. No battery. Down the outside, easily through into Stowe corner. It looks like. There we go. Job done for Lewis Hamilton. All right, George Russell is on his way to the pit lane. He's opened up 1.7 seconds of lead over Verstappen through really pushing on the tyres over the last couple of laps. In he comes. He will probably drop out in this pack. 2.9 second stop. Hamilton's pit window now open. He moves into second position. Charles Leclerc is right on his gearbox. Russell actually drops out in 11th. On the hard tyre, so that's not... Yeah, it's not awful. I'm wondering whether the whether the Red Bull are on a one-stopper going medium to hard, but I don't think that's really viable. And even if they do, our pace on the softs and the mediums at the ends will be pretty strong, I would say, as Leclerc now moves ahead of Hamilton. And these two are just going to end up costing themselves time. We've got a yellow flag. Lance Stroll has run wide and handed George Russell a position. So that's useful. Thanks for that, Stroll. In comes Lewis Hamilton to the pit lane. Red Bull now first and second in this race. George Russell has started making some progress. He's up to P6 now. He's on the back of the Ferraris, who have yet to stop. Hamilton a 2.7 second stop. He'll come out just behind Doohan. So just as predicted. And we'll just go aggressive on the tyres. We do need to conserve some fuel. So I'm gonna, while George has got DRS, and Hamilton will have it too in a moment, just going to conserve some fuel. And then hopefully George can go past the Ferrari here. DRS very powerful on the run down to Stowe Corner. And that's the position gained on the Ferrari. Job done. Right. Red Bull might be on that one stopper that I suggested. So, okay, we've got to make another stop. And the pit lane is slow at Silverstone. But we're going to have a lot of pace. And if there's a safety car, then we are in business. Is George Russell going to be in business here? Getting past Carlos Sainz. Let's see. Yes, he is. Through goes Russell for third place on the road. Hamilton is now trying to make a move on a Williams, which is that of Logan Sargent. And Jack Doohan diving into the pit lane. Let's get Lewis moving through the order and see if we can catch those Red Bulls. Charles Leclerc is in the pit lane and onto a set of hard tyres. So Red Bull are indeed on the one stopper. Leclerc comes out behind Gasly. Russell now 7.5 seconds behind Max Verstappen, who leads the race. Hamilton is 20 seconds off the lead, but is going quickly. Russell 1.3 seconds quicker last time round than Verstappen, who's obviously looking after his tyres. We don't need to do too much of that because we're on an aggressive strategy, which we do like here at Mercedes. A good aggressive strategy, looking to come through and overtake cars. Nice dramatic finish. But George Russell, we could be in the hunt for a victory here. He's 5.5 seconds behind Verstappen, and they both have one stop to make remaining in this race. I'd assume Verstappen is carrying on. There we go, yeah. He's pit the very next lap, and he's onto a set of hard tyres. Does Lewis Hamilton go past? I think he will. Yeah, but the gap between them isn't going to be particularly big at all. Just a few seconds. There's a yellow flag for a moment. I think that was Doohan going off. Indeed, it was a lock-up for Jack Doohan. Verstappen comes out behind Magnussen and Gasly, so that's useful for him. Some DRS, some free lap time, but he's also got to make those overtakes. Verstappen hasn't made a huge amount of progress yet. He's still fighting with Magnussen and Gasly. He's finally got past Magnussen, and I think he might just be about to go past Gasly here. Around the outside of Cops, not happening there. He has dropped 7 seconds behind Hamilton, which means he is 17 behind Russell. You lose sort of 24 seconds, I would say, in a pit stop at Silverstone. We could probably continue attacking with George Russell on his tyres, and Hamilton also doing pretty well on his, but we need to get him further into the race. The gap at the front is 10 seconds. Verstappen now into P3 and can get going. But he's going to have to nurse those tyres to the end, and we're going to be coming at him at a rate of knots, especially with George Russell, who's not far away from his pit stop. Hamilton, a late VSC around lap 38, plays beautifully into his hands. George Russell pits from the lead here at Silverstone. We actually ran a lap longer for him because the tyres were hanging on, so decent stop, 3 seconds Verstappen will go through, and what will the gap be? That is the important number we're looking for. It's not that big at all, is it? 4 seconds. I think George Russell is in a fantastic position to win the British Grand Prix for the first time in his career. He was beaten to it last year by Lewis Hamilton in a Mercedes 1-2. We could still have that 1-2 finish, but Lewis will just attack with you for now to get the maximum out of the tyre. We've got another yellow flag. Someone else has run wide. Albon with a spin. Yes, all these guys. Okay, I hate it when it randomly does that. For no reason. Something happens and then it does that and it's like, oh, it's just going to show you the replay on its own. No. That's something that does need to be fixed. And what's the lap time difference? It's 1.3 seconds. It's enormous. So if we keep that up, we'll be with him in no time. Where's the AWS in striking distance graphic? Because it's very, very soon. Hamilton's in. What's the stop like? 2.8 seconds, which is more than the lead that Verstappen has over Russell. Hamilton comes out ahead of Perez, 4.5 seconds behind Charles Leclerc. We'll deploy with the battery as we get the tyres up to temperature. What I am going to ask George Russell to do is just conserve his fuel for a little bit. And we'll do, I think, the same with Lewis, because we're just a little bit short at the moment. But our extra tyre pace compared to the used hards of the Red Bulls is going to be enormous, I think. Russell, 1.5 seconds off the lead of the race. I think when he gets there, it's going to be pretty straightforward. The key will be to get the move done and disappear immediately. Right, DRS incoming, I think, for George Russell. Did he get it? No. Right. We'll go balanced on the fuel. We'll have DRS in a moment, I'm sure. Especially down to Stowe. Let's see. It's just over 1 second. I don't think... Oh, we didn't get it. Okay. Verstappen maybe playing some games with his battery, but we will get him in the end. Alright, just a few seconds later, and we have indeed caught Max Verstappen. There is now a crash. Please don't be a VSC or anything. I don't think it is. It usually does it immediately. We've asked George Russell to drive in clean air.
Push and hold, overtake.
Here he goes. For the lead of the British Grand Prix, George Russell leads at Silverstone. Verstappen leaving a wheel in there. Here we go then. This is the moment we need to attack and just clear off. Hamilton has just passed
P1.
Leclerc in exactly the same way.
Give it everything we got.
And he is 9.5 seconds behind Verstappen. Can we disappear from Verstappen's DRS range? Let's watch this overtake Hamilton on Leclerc very quickly. Leclerc had no defence. Softs versus hards. There's only one winner there.
Okay.
We've got 6 laps to go. Lewis Hamilton was just 2.5 seconds quicker than Max Verstappen the last time round. He did a 27 flat. Leclerc did a 30.1 on those old hard tyres.
We are seeing high temp peaks, so just keep
We have
on
got
top of it.
hot tyres, but we've also got a fast car. So 3 seconds to Verstappen. Let's see if we can close that gap down. I think the difference this time is going to be similar. Yeah, 2.2 seconds. It is coming down at a serious rate each lap. He's going to have DRS this time around. It's absolutely incredibly fast, this pace. We're going to need to conserve some fuel though with Lewis. But with DRS, we will surely go past Max Verstappen. If not here, definitely into Stowe Corner. We'll just move it along. It is a bit of a foregone conclusion. Here we go then. Job done. Mercedes back into first and second position, which, considering that Red Bull had pole position, I think this is a very well executed strategy. It's given us a fabulous opportunity. We've not had a safety car to sort of luck into it. We've just out-strategized them. The one stop left Red Bull vulnerable. And now we're going to finish first and second. George Russell actually has the fastest lap of the race. But what a performance. Red Bull, I thought, were the fastest car around here, considering their pace in qualifying. Leclerc just went out too late and basically had his lap spoilt by the rain arriving. Otherwise, I think we wouldn't have been on the front row because there was a half-second gap between us and Verstappen with Russell. But this strategy, as I said, has worked out perfectly. Hamilton still pushing on in second position. George Russell, though, is going to take a well-deserved victory, only his second of season 3. And the world champion is back on form. George Russell through Club Corner. He wins at Silverstone for the first time in his career. Get in there! And it's going to be a third straight 1-2 finish, consecutive home 1-2 finishes as well for Mercedes, as Hamilton comes home second. But he does lose 8 points of his championship lead. We move further away from Red Bull.
Really positive for us all, guys.
Either they're focusing on 2026 or they just aren't able to keep up with us, which would also be the same thing. But anyway, it's joy for Mercedes once again at home. George Russell wins the British Grand Prix. There he is then, George Russell, the winner at Silverstone. The Silver Star on top. He's looking the wrong way. The crowd's behind you, George. He's looking at his mechanics, but surely you turn to the fans and take the adoration of them as well. We are bouncing in the Mercedes garage. The British National Anthem will blast out proudly at Silverstone once again, as will the German National Anthem for the team. And now, once again, confetti and champagne. Two of our favourite things at Mercedes. That and winning we do like. So I think that is that 4 races in a row we've won now? We did, no, it's 3 races because we won Abu Dhabi, Qatar and now Silverstone. But Red Bull haven't won as many races as we have this season. Let's have a look at that. We've got 6 wins to their 3. Fantastic. They've taken 6 pole positions and they've only won 3 races. Unbelievable. That shows you that we've got a very strong race car. The gap at the top between Hamilton and Russell is now 13 points, thanks to George Russell winning the race and getting the fastest lap. We are, what's that? 33 points clear of Max Verstappen. Red Bull fast falling out of this title race. They're kind of scrapping out for third unless they start winning some races. But basically I don't plan on letting that happen. My plan now, we are halfway through the season, my plan now is to start researching as much as possible for 2026 and to just keep winning. I know that sounds really simple, and that's obviously the aim of the game, is to keep winning as much as possible. But I want to really take a stranglehold on this championship, and if it becomes Lewis versus George, then so be it. But we do have to factor in that maybe Lewis Hamilton is calling it a day at the end of this season. Maybe we kind of favour him in terms of a few team orders here and there. Let me know what you think about that. Do we try and give Lewis that 8th title, even if it is against George, because George will be here next year and hopefully the car will be ace, and then he can just walk to another championship next year. But let me know your thoughts on that in the comments. And also, if Lewis does retire, who do I replace him with? A fantastic result then at the British Grand Prix. Always great to win my home race. If you enjoyed that, smash the like button. Hit the subscribe button so you don't miss a video or live stream from me. Remember, you are the best fans. I'll see you for the next round in Hungary. Bye for now.